Welcome everyone to a brand new video. Thank you so much for visiting once again My World Andino, your channel. This channel is made for you so that you can learn what's happening around the world, the truth of what's happening around the world, and not the version you'll hear in corporate media. So let's begin with today's topic. So President Duque has led the nation of Colombia to become a paramilitary base to conspire against Venezuela and any other country in the region that does not submit to their political views and to their policies. It has reached the extreme where the North American military can be seen working together with Colombian Army on the border of Venezuela. But there are other illegal groups that have been noticed too. They have been seen, and this has been seen by international organizations. The Colombian tyranny, and I'm calling it that because they have taken many lives of social defenders. As you can see on the screen, there are some caricatures of social defenders, some of their names. The Colombia has this neoliberal governments, because that's what we can name them to or call them, have demonstrated that they can coexist with drug trafficking groups. I am speaking about local authorities or regional authorities who receive compensation from the highest levels within the government. They either turn their head as if they don't see anything, or they help ease the way for these illegal groups to do their job, to make their job easier. If we ask the United States about drug traffickers, they will always assure us Maduro's government is the one to blame for the drug trafficking in that area. Even with all the technology available nowadays, the US has never shown a satellite image to prove its accusation. And that's because they can't provide any proof. Since the era of President Chavez, the nation of Venezuela, a doctrine which is reinforced by the Constitution, and that article of the Constitution says no foreign armed groups can exist in Venezuela. If there is a foreign armed troops that somehow enters the nation or the territory, must be removed, or they are forcefully removed. But no foreign group with arms can exist in Venezuela. Colombia's illegal armed groups are mainly dedicated to drug trafficking, and they attack the electrical and oil pipe stations in Apure on March 21st. This happened early morning, like around 2 a.m. After the attack had taken place, fake news began to be broadcast. Some say by TV, and the majority say mainly by social media. This caused over 3,000 civilians to cross the border to Colombia. Paramilitary groups had accused President Maduro of creating false positives, just as Ivan Duque does when he takes the lives of social defenders. And the situation about this is that corporate media never checked where the sources were coming from. Or maybe they knew and they just didn't care, since they are in the same side. Corporate media is always saying negative about the government of Venezuela. So over 100 armed men were identified as Farc dissidents. An investigation had started on those men a few days prior to the attack. So what had happened is that the Farc or Farc doesn't exist anymore. So I'm not entirely sure why they're saying Farc members. What they should say is maybe former Farc members, or use a different word. But the paramilitary group Farc does not exist since 2016 when they signed the peace treaty. Some members decided to either align with different groups, and some actually became part of the military forces of Colombia. And that's a well-known aligned military of Colombia began to be hunted by the government of Iván Duque. So hundreds of them have died since 2016. And that's when social defenders began to investigate. And since 2016, 200 of them, social defenders, have lost their lives. So the Bolivarian Armed Forces operation resulted in 32 illegal troops captured, or 32 members, troops, and then 27 suspects are before the military tribunal, and 6 or 7 were neutralized. Officials of the Bolivarian Army, 2 of their members lost their lives by explosives. Corporate media started with psychological operations against Venezuelan military, saying that they were taking life of provincial citizens, and after their lives were taken, they were being dressed up with paramilitary uniforms. At the same time, a weapon was being left near the body. So, and this is the same situation that happens in Colombia with the military of Colombia when they take the life of a social defender or a former Farc military member. So that same technique that is used in Colombia is being brought to Venezuela. That's exactly what's taking place. President Maduro says that the militaries on his borders are CIA members, FBI, and Colombian militaries assisted by the U.S. Army. So, and we all know that all of these groups that we have mentioned have experience with weapons, with military weapons. I mean, even the Sinaloa cartel, back when Calderon was the president, he allowed U.S. Army weapons to be given or sold to Sinaloa cartel. And that's how many, and when the military was fighting the cartels, a lot of lives were lost. And I'm also talking about Mexican citizens' lives. Many of them lost their lives. So that's a tactic or a strategy that it seems that have results already, same as in Syria. Having different groups attack Syria from different directions, it came to a point where the military could not stretch enough. And that's when Russia came to help. In Mexico, that the military cartels had better weapons than the actual military. My friends, I'm going to leave this video. I'll be back with another video with the second part. Okay? So stay tuned.